Hello YouTube, and welcome back to my vlogging channel. Today is the day that I talk about my second pregnancy, my second birth with my son. If you haven't seen my first video about my pregnancy and my birth with my daughter, go check it out. All of my pregnancies and births were very different. So my daughter was a month early, very tiny, and then I had to labor in bed and just preeclampsia and all of that stuff. My son, well, let's just begin. I have my notes, of course, that I wouldn't forget anything, any details. Let's start with my daughter that I had was 1 year old when we started trying for a second baby, and so I had, disclaimer, sensitive area. I had 2 miscarriages while trying to conceive, with the DNC for one of those, and that was very difficult because I don't even know if there is a reason or a way to describe this. It was very difficult. I wanted a child. I knew already what it was like to be pregnant, to feel the baby kick, to have a baby, to breastfeed, and I wanted these things again so badly. Twice I miscarried, and then pregnant with my son. I will include some pictures of my pregnancy. I was very big. I was on bed rest, of course, again, because I had miscarriages before. Well, before my daughter, then before my son, so they put me on bed rest. And bed rest this time was very difficult because I had a 1 year old, right? So of course, take naps with her and all of that stuff, but you need to take the child outside, you need to go play, you need to make food and all of that thing, all of the regular things that a mom needs to do, that I had to keep it very low. So play in bed with the child, with the toddler at that time. So it was difficult for everyone. I feel like everyone had to adjust to, because I'm the kind of person that go, do. I need to wash the dishes and clean that and this and that, and I don't wait, I don't do later, I don't do soon. I do it then. And so for me to lay in bed was a challenge. So this time around for my birth, everyone was afraid that I will have preeclampsia at the end of my pregnancy again. So this time around I picked a different doctor. You probably knew that was coming. I picked a midwife this time around. So I went to the midwife and, you know, had a birth plan. I want a natural birth, no this, no that, don't touch me. I wanted to labor in the pool this time because with my daughter I couldn't leave the bed. So I was so excited to walk around and be in the pool. And at this point, at this time, it was very popular to give water births, and I was on the way to do so. I go to my doctor's appointment, I think around 38 weeks, and she checks me and I am 6 centimeters dilated. And I'm like, what? Yay! Like, I didn't have preeclampsia. I am like, of course I was uncomfortable and big and on bed rest and everything, but still I didn't have preeclampsia. So at 38 weeks pregnant, I was still with that baby. I was pretty done though. And so she checks me and she even stretches me even more. So I was like 6.5, and she's like, any day, any minute, like you're gonna be ready. And I'm like, yay. Oh, and then she tells me, if you get very uncomfortable, you call me, come into the hospital, and we can just break your water because you're so like dilated and ready to go. I was like, okay. And then of course she did an ultrasound and she said that the baby was about 8 pounds. So right on, like everything's perfect for the birth in the tub in the hospital. So I call her, I think a couple days later, and I'm like, I'm done, can I come in? Thank you, can you check me? And I want my water to be broken and everything like that. So I go into the hospital with my husband and we're ready to give birth, and she, you know, I'm like 6.5 to 7 centimeters dilated at this point, and she breaks my water, and then everything starts. So contractions, pressure, all of that, the time just like stops and goes and comes and leaves, and you just don't know, you don't really know what's going on. And I'm in the tub, and one thing that happened, the tub in the hospital is very hard, and I was holding on to the tub and I was rocking myself to ease the pressure, and so my knees were bleeding. And I didn't know at the time. After I gave birth, I only saw that my knees were bleeding from me just like scraping that tub with my knees. During labor, I did not ask for an epidural this time, although I had a photographer in the room, so that was very exciting. She took some images and some videos that are very private, and I would probably not share them, at least at this point. And so I asked my husband for a vacation, and I feel like during every single birth, I tell my husband something. So the first birth was, I need an epidural. Second birth was, I need a vacation. Like, I don't know why. Well, I don't know what's going through my mind, but I know I remember, and he even told me, and we kind of laugh about it. I was leaning on the tub, and I'm like, I'm such a good wife, like I'm giving you children, like I'm going through this, like I try to do the best that I can, to do the best that I possibly can. You need to buy me a vacation. It's just, I don't know, it's just funny. I was very convincing, and he's like, yes, yes, I'll give you everything, just go, we can go anywhere, we'll buy anything. Like, he was very accepting and very nice to me in that time. He wasn't the kind of guy who told me, like, no, like that makes no sense, you're giving birth, like after you give birth you need to be in the house, like you're gonna need to heal. And he was like, okay, we'll go anywhere you want. Then my midwife came in to check me a couple times, because maybe she knew that something was a little bit off, maybe I knew, because it was harder than my daughter's birth. And with my daughter's birth, I felt so restricted in bed. I couldn't move, I couldn't lift my legs, I couldn't do this, I couldn't do that. And then with my son, I felt like that something is going on. It's taking a while, at least, even though it was like 5 hours, the whole birth, but it felt different. It felt harder, it felt bigger for some reason, and I'll tell you in a second. My midwife would come in to check, and I feel like she maybe knew that something was off while checking me. So I started to push. That is when everything just like swished around from just do your own thing to you need to get back, and you need me to help you. Because of course I told you I wanted, you know, hands off from the doctor or midwife. I wanted to do this by myself. So she came in and she's like, oh no, and she's like, lean back, hold on, I need to help you. And she did, disclaimer, might be nasty for some. She had to take out the baby herself. The nicest way of putting it, his shoulder was stuck. So she did that. It hurt like it hurt, I felt. And so she just like, and she took out my child. Like, that was very quick. Just lucky, but of course it was a situation where everyone was on edge, and everyone was like, oh my gosh, like he's stuck. after I gave birth, I took my child into my arms. I was in the tub, and that's when the blood started. There was a lot of blood, to the point where midwife had to cut the umbilical cord, give the baby to my husband, and then she needed to take me out of the tub, put me on the bed, and check me really fast because I was bleeding a ton. So after all of that, it turned out that everything was okay, like nothing in the water, and I know it looks a lot worse than it actually is, but just to be on the safe side, she was very fast, and she's like, that's it, we need to get out, we need to check you just in case all of that happened. Then I was on the bed with the baby, just like having the best time, having the best time. And so she weighed him. He was 10 pounds. Yes, I gave birth to a 10-pound baby naturally, with no ripping, I might add. He was stuck though, so obviously that is the reason why he got stuck. He was just a big baby. He was very healthy, and they had to check him a lot during the hospital stay. Everything was fine, everything was great, everything was good, and we were happy, and he was just the cutest thing in the world. I don't even know, I feel like I'm gonna say this in every single pregnancy and birth video. Like, he was the cutest boy I've ever seen, and we were happy, we were content. We wanted to go home and my daughter to meet him, and I remember we came back home at night, so my daughter was sleeping already, and then we went to sleep, and my daughter woke up at like 6 a.m. because the baby was crying, and she came into the room and she's like, what's going on? And I'm like, check the baby's bed, what is that? Like, what is that? And she looks and she's like, baby. Oh. I can't believe I'm crying. It's just best memories ever. Ooh. Well, that came out of nowhere. I did not know I was so sensitive about this. And that's it. That's my birth and pregnancy. Of course, you saw a couple of pictures, and just I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you will check out the other video. And let's just wait for my third child's pregnancy and birth, which was a total opposite of what I had previously. Bye.